Hi, we are back with this playthrough of Dragon Age Inquisition. We are back in the hinterlands here. We need to pick up Blackwall. I forgot about Blackwall last time I was here. There's a few other things to do here. One of them is there's a Ocularum or whatever over this way, and there's Fade Rift over this way, and what the hell? Loot the guy. Loot. Alright, let's are they gonna be right there when I'm just they're gonna be respawn right away? Hopefully not. Go deal with this Fade Rift and then use the Ocularum. And is this some loot we missed? I guess. Deal with this Fade Rift over here. No. Blocking my view. Let's give. Does she need that? No, she's got full guard. Let's put that over here. Alright, our first Fade Rift closed. Hooray for us. Well, besides the ones in the prologue. These guys didn't drop a whole lot, did they? Oh, well, here's something. Brought Solus because I think we're going to do his thingy. He's got some little thingy to do. Collect a bunch of elf fruit.
That tower is impressive, even as a ruin. I wonder what dreams it might hold.
Yeah, well, you ain't got time to go sleep right now, Solus. Sorry. Nope. Tell you what we need to do. We need to go to that ocularum and then come back here. I don't suppose I can get up this way, can I? Is that the only thing? Alright. There's somebody over there. I don't know who they are. We already got this one. Oh, whoa, whoa. There we go. Alright, let's go back to that tower now. And no sleeping, Solus. No sleeping. Ain't got time for that crap. And somebody's just showed up. Help me, because he's shooting me. Alright. They loot. Yes, they left some loot. Let's get it. Alright, let's get that, whatever it is, shard. Go this way. Oh, what's this?
One of those key things.
How do we know it's a key thing? We haven't been out there. I did go, I scouted it from the war table. I scouted that temple area, but we haven't been out there, so how do we know it's a key thing? We don't know. We don't know what it's for. Ah, here we go. Let's claim this thing. Mine! It's all mine! It's all mine. Just take over the planet. Take it over everything. It's all mine. All of it. There's nothing in here, huh? I don't know if this has to be after you go somewhere and find out about it, or if it's down here right now. But there should be something right here. Maybe not. Maybe you have to pick up information about this thing. Hey. There should be something right here. But I guess we have to actually acquire the quest before we can get it. Oh well. Alright, so that's dealt with. Any rams, Ram?
Sarah, how are you not dead?
What are you on about?
I was trained from childhood by the greatest swordsman of an age. You were apparently orphaned to the street with your wits and a quiver, neither full.
You come from nobles, all right. Get over yourself. I'm not even near the bottom of what real people live through.
Can't see anything through all. I don't care about the fennec that much. What I want is a ram. Alright, let's go get Blackwall. No. And I see a quest thingy here. Must be but next to the tree. Ah, here we go. Take. We took it. Oh, that's that waterfall thing. Yeah, we had to pick up the treasure map. Okay, that's why we didn't get it earlier. Because we didn't get this treasure map. Okay, fine. Got it. I guess we need a treasure map for that one over there, too, huh? That's why it wasn't in there. So we didn't have the treasure map. Let's see. Let's go up here. Or not. Nope. Ram! Ram! Kill it!
Make it take you!
That's a little bit much for a little ram. Come on. I hope the maker did take him. Gave him a better afterlife than the one he had here. Ah. Elf root. Oh, this is part of a quest. We put some stuff in there and we get a sword or something or other. Gotta claim this. It's ours. It's all ours. It's all ours. Every bit of it. It's all ours. We're taking it all. The Inquisition is here, and we're conquering everything in sight. It's all ours.
They will make this a fight, not us.
It's all ours.
And there, no gaps.
It's all ours.
Remember how to carry your shields. You're not hiding, you're holding. Otherwise, it's useless.
Blackwall. Warden Blackwall.
You're not... How do you know my name? Who said that? That's it. Help or get out. We're dealing with these idiots first. Conscripts, here they come!
These trees are not helping. Can't see anything.
Sorry, bastards. Good work, conscripts. Even if this shouldn't have happened, they could have... Well, thieves are made, not born. Take back what they stole. Go back to your families. You saved yourselves. You're no farmer. Why do you know my name? Who are you?
I'm here investigating Grey Wardens for the Inquisition. We're seeing if their disappearance has anything to do with the murder of the Divine.
Maker's balls. The Wardens and the Divine. That can't... No, you're asking so you don't really know. First off, I didn't know they disappeared. But we do that, right? No more blight, job done. Wardens are the first thing forgotten. But one thing I'll tell you, no Warden killed the Divine. Our purpose isn't political.
Not here to accuse, not yet. I just need information. I've only found you. Where are the rest?
I haven't seen any Wardens for months. I travel alone, recruiting. Not much interest because the Archdemon is a decade dead, and no need to conscript because there's no blight coming. Treaties give Wardens the right to take what we need, who we need. These idiots forced this fight, so I conscripted their victims. They had to do what I said, so I told them to stand. Next time they won't need me. Grey Wardens can inspire. Make you better than you think you are.
I wasn't aware Grey Wardens could take whatever they want.
It's complicated. If there's a blight, everyone has to help the effort to fight it. The treaties are ancient. Outside of blights, it's as binding as a clever tongue can make it.
Do you have any idea where the other Wardens could have gone?
Maybe they returned to our stronghold at Weishaupt? That's in the Anderfels, a long way north. I don't really know. Can't imagine why they'd all disappear at once, let alone where they'd disappear to.
Why haven't you gone missing like the rest of them?
Well, maybe I was going to. Or maybe there's a new directive, but a runner got lost or something. My job was to recruit on my own. Plan to stay that way for months. Years.
You're no help. I'm no further ahead than I was.
Inquisition. Agent, did you say? Hold a moment. The Divine is dead and the sky is torn. Events like these, thinking we're absent is almost as bad as thinking we're involved. If you're trying to put things right, maybe you need a warden. Maybe you need me.
The Inquisition needs all the support it can get. But what can one Grey Warden do?
Save the fucking world if pressed. Look, maybe fighting demons from the sky isn't something I'm practiced at. But show me someone who is. And like I said, there are treaties. Maybe this isn't a blight, but it's bloody well a disaster. Some will honor them. Being a warden means something to a lot of people.
Warden Blackwall, the Inquisition accepts your offer.
Good to hear. We both need to know what's going on. And perhaps I've been keeping to myself for too long. This warden walks with the Inquisition.
Well, I'm not going to really change my party up yet. I do need to level Blackwall at some point. I don't know what he's got. But we came here not just to get Blackwall. Although that's one thing we want to do here. We also came here to do Solus's thing and then check on the watchtowers, because we finished the watchtowers. I think we did. Maybe technically we didn't, because I'm not sure I've gone back to the war room. I have to get the report, maybe. Ah, or loot. What's this? Did that give us a new quest, or is that just a note? I don't know. Read that offline. Went into the codex, so I've been reading the codex offline. Okay, what else do we want to do here? Oh, a fennec. Yeah, we won't kill you. But we could. What's this little place? Who knows? Alright, there's some shards down here, and we can collect. Somewhere. This place is much quieter now. Now that we took care of the mages. Oh, I meant to jump, but oh well. Where is this thing? There it is. And there's no fire. I guess the fire went out. Let's see. A bunch of people wandering over there. Don't really care. Let's see. How we doing? What's the quest map look like? What's this? There's a Fade Rift up there and a shard. So there's a shard near this tower here. Ah, here we go. Want to claim this thing. Gotta claim this thing. It's ours. It's all ours. Every bit of it's all ours. I'll read that offline. Seriously, there's nothing else in here. It's got. Until that would point us to the Templar camp if we hadn't already destroyed the Templar camp. Now, do I need to go to the war table? I can't even remember. Hi, you're dead. Alright, I want to check if the watchtower should be there. Let's check. I'm not sure. The watchtower there? No, there's no watchtower up here. Alright, I guess I need to go back to Haven. Let's see. And go to the war table so I can get the, okay, we built the watchtowers report, even though I don't see any, but... And then we can come back here and we could talk to Master Denerim. Collect a few more shards. And then we also have to do Solus's little thingy. But now that we have Blackwall, we might as well talk to some people. Why don't we do that? We'll finish off this episode talking to people. Alright, so...
Travel safely.
Let's talk to Blackwall. Hello, Blackwall! Where you going? Where are you going, man?
Make a look at it. So much easier to ignore when it's far away. And to actually walk out of it. To be that close.
If I hadn't been saved by Inquisition soldiers, I don't know what would have happened.
Inquisition soldiers? That's not what I've heard. The breach, the Divine's death, the Wardens. It doesn't make sense. There's so much we don't know.
Already feeling like part of the team, I see.
Too soon? I thought we were building a rapport. So, you already know something of me. What about you? How do you fit into all this?
It's been a whirlwind. It's hard to say where I fit.
I guess we'll have to figure that out. For me, I'll be satisfied so long as we find the bastards that killed the Divine. They owe us some answers.
Okay.
They've got good form. Cullen's putting his Templar training to good use.
Did Cullen tell you he was a Templar? He's not wearing the armor.
He didn't have to. Might not be a Templar shield, but it's a Templar holding it. He angles the shield just a bit down. Helps direct fire or acid away, so it doesn't spray right into your face. Canary learned the same thing when we trained to fight Tevinter mages. Your Templar's doing good work.
You sound like you want to head down there and give the troops some pointers.
Nah, I'm no good at command unless I know who my guys are sleeping with and what they like to drink. Inquisition's already too large for that. The charges are big enough for me. Biggest problem for the Inquisition right now isn't on the front line. It's at the top. You've got no leader, no Inquisitor.
Sandra's been the driving force of this Inquisition. She's the leader in all but name.
Cassandra's a seeker. From what I gather, that's a bit like a Ben Hasrat. She's a good hunter and a great fighter, but she doesn't see the big picture. Too busy searching for answers. My people don't pick leaders from the strongest, or the smartest, or even the most talented. We pick the ones willing to make the hard decisions, and live with the consequences. Who knows? Maybe you sealed the breach. The Chantry gets off its ass and all those soldiers go home and get fat.
You think?
It could happen. It won't, but it could.
Can I help you with anything?
Can we talk about the Bull's charges?
Best company you'll find from here to the Anderfells. In my time with the Chief, we've gone up against everything from bandits to magic trees. We're expensive, but you'll never doubt we're worth it. Want to know anything in particular?
Do the charges specialize in anything from a tactical standpoint?
Bull doesn't want us large enough to work as an army. We're better as shock troops, as skirmishers. We've got archers for hitting enemy infantry, Dalish with more archery, and Skinner and her people on the flanks. Rocky handles fortifications and traps, and Stitches keeps us all fighting. They mostly hold back. I'll lead the frontline fighters with Grim, and the Chief goes wherever he can hit something.
And like, with, more archery.
You said something about everything from bandits to magic trees. I'll admit to some curiosity.
Right. Sylvans. That's what Dalish called them. Apparently spirits can possess trees, too. Some noble in the Dales, and they really don't like it when you call them Dalish nobles, had a haunted forest. His family had abandoned the land, but he wanted it back. The Chief bought us all axes, and in we went. Between the axes and the torches, the Sylvans weren't too bad. Worst part was the squirrels.
Are there rules for how mercenaries operate?
If you don't want some noble to treat you like bandits, yes. There's also a code of conduct most companies hold to. Keeps things civilized on the battlefield. We accept surrenders for ransom from mercenaries, nobles, and soldiers wearing a lord's colors. Our prisoners are treated well, injuries tended. We'd want the same for any of ours who got captured.
We'll talk later.
What? Why can't I? Come on. Is that it? I wanted to ask these other questions. No. Can't, huh? Alright, fine. Can't answer these other questions. Is there anything more we can do? Is there anything more? Okay. We did that one, right?
Can you tell me more about the Seekers?
The Seekers of Truth were born from the original Inquisition long ago, when it united with the Chantry. Seekers stood above the Templars, watching over them but also investigating magical events they couldn't handle. We were meant to be incorruptible, above reproach. How seldom does reality match the ideal?
But what are Seekers exactly?
Those who know anything of us think we are Templars. We do not use lyrium, however. Our abilities are different, as was our original purpose. We disciplined the Templars and were accountable only to the Divine, and not even her, truthfully.
So the Seekers commanded the Templars?
No, the Order didn't assume command until after the rebellion. The Templars have always feared us. When a Seeker arrived at a circle, they knew trouble was afoot. That kind of power is troubling. You begin to think you are the only one who can solve the world's problems. If you don't see a problem, it doesn't exist. If someone insists it does, they are the blind ones.
Do you think that kind of problem could ever be fixed?
Possibly. Though the Seekers themselves would need to change. They were clearly not willing to, even though they abandoned everything they stood for to avoid it. In my heart, I believe they can still be salvaged, but not by their own hands.
You mentioned that Seekers have different abilities than Templars.
Entirely. A Templar's abilities come from lyrium and are designed to hunt mages. Ours come from ritual and many years of dedicated training. We cannot be possessed by demons and are immune to mind control. Useful considering our role. Seekers can gain other gifts, though that depends on the individual.
What kind of gifts do you have?
I can set the lyrium within a person's blood aflame. Both mages and Templars bend before my will. Some Seekers use it to interrogate, others simply to paralyze. Once there was a Seeker who could use it to kill. That particular gift is considered rare.
Why did your order turn against the Chantry?
We originally united with the Chantry through a treaty that stated they would keep mages under control. It was felt Most Holy had tacitly allowed the Circle of Magi to vote on its independence, thus breaking the treaty. The Seekers saw themselves as justified, and they led the Templars into a war of righteousness.
You sound like you disagree.
We knew what was happening at Kirkwall, where the Mage Rebellion began. We looked into reports of Knight Commander Meredith's harsh treatment of her charges years earlier. But we found so many shocking cases of magical corruption, it was decided her actions were justified. If we'd been there when it happened, if we'd looked harder at the root causes.
I don't know that he's like on Liliana's side. I don't know that he's on Vivian's side. He's kind of somewhere in the middle. So I don't want to go either of these ways.
You seem to care a great deal about it.
Too much, if you ask the rest of my order. When faced with a problem, the Seekers would close ranks and crush it. We would find an answer, but only once we felt we weren't being coerced. The moment the mages voted for independence, our response was predictable. It was difficult to watch.
How does someone become a Seeker?
Most Seekers begin training in their youth. I was much older, an exception due to my noble birth. We train rigorously for years. Our bodies and minds must be elastic to undergo the vigil, and most fail even then.
Is the vigil some kind of initiation?
It is the rite every Seeker must go through in order to summon their gifts. A full year of fasting, prayer, and separation from all distractions, including other people. We empty ourselves of all emotion, focusing only on the purity of our devotion. And the moment it finally ends, it's wonderful. Faith realized. I cannot put it into words.
wish I could experience that.
If the vigil was not so arduous, I'd say more should attempt it. What if mages never needed to fear possession by demons? I'm told it is impossible, however. I suppose I'll never know the truth of it now.
I've no more questions.
We asked her about herself, and now we've asked her about the Seekers.
You traveled some distance to reach Haven. You're from the Circle in Ostwick?
Would you prefer I stayed locked away like a good mage?
I didn't... I only meant to make conversation. A poor choice of topic, given the past. Shall we speak of something else?
I'd like to know more about the Templars.
If you need insight into what the Order is doing now, I'm afraid I can't offer more than you already know. Anything else, I will answer as best I can.
Why did you join the Order?
I could think of no better calling than to protect those in need. I used to beg the Templars as our local chantry to teach me. At first, they merely humored me. I must have shown promise, or at least a willingness to learn. The Knight Captain spoke to my parents on my behalf. They agreed to send me for training. I was 13 when I left home.
13? That's still so young.
I wasn't the youngest there. Some children are promised to the Order at infancy. Still, I didn't take on full responsibilities until I was 18. The Order sees you trained and educated first.
What about your family? Did you miss them?
Of course. But there were many my age who felt the same. We learned to look out for one another.
Prior to the Conclave, I'd only encountered Templars in the Circle. Did they do anything besides guard mages?
Templars protect against the dangers of magic. Before the Order left the Chantry, that meant serving in a circle. They were also tasked with tracking apostates, or fighting demons inevitably summoned by the weak or malicious.
What do you think of mages? Are they all a threat?
I've seen the suffering magic can inflict. I've treated mages with distrust because of it, at times without cause. That was unworthy of me. I will try not to do so here. Not that I want mages moving through our base completely unchecked. We need safeguards in place to protect people, including mages, from possession at the least.
Well, that sounds reasonable.
I know how I spent my time in the Circle, but what was a typical day for a Templar?
Typical? The last time I was in a circle was right before it fell apart. Nothing was typical.
Before that, then?
Certain rituals require a full guard. A mage's howling, for instance. I've attended a few. Most of the time, you merely maintain a presence, on patrol or in the circle, ready to respond if needed. Mages pretend to ignore that presence, but they're watching you just as closely.
We would spend all day with Templars, and yet they rarely spoke to us.
A habit often mistaken for coldness, I'm sure. But we are expected to keep a certain distance from our charges. If a mage is possessed or uses blood magic, you must act quickly, without hesitation. Your judgment cannot be clouded. Of course, ignoring one another does nothing to foster understanding.
What does Templar training involve?
There is weapon and combat training. Even without their abilities, Templars are among the best warriors in Thedas. Initiates must also memorize portions of the Chant of Light, study history, and improve their mental focus.
Did you enjoy your training?
I wanted to learn everything. If I was giving my life to this, I would be the best Templar I could.
You were a model student.
I wanted to be. I wasn't always successful. Watching a candle burn down while reciting the Chant of Transfiguration wasn't the most exciting task. And I admit, my mind sometimes wandered.
Do Templars take vows? I swear to the Maker to watch all the mages, that sort of thing.
There's a vigil first. You're meant to be at peace during that time, but your life is about to change. When it's over, you give yourself to a life of service. That's when you're given a filter, your first draft of Lyrium and its power. As Templars, we are not to seek wealth or acknowledgement. Our lives belong to the Maker and the path we have chosen.
That's all I wanted to know. Thank you.
Another time, then.
Obviously, there's more investigate stuff we can do with him.
Need something?
Carry on.
Did we ask about red lyrium earlier? I can't remember. I wish this... Generally, this stuff goes away, but sometimes it don't go away. And you end up re-asking stuff you already asked about.
Sarah? She's a feisty one. I didn't mean anything by it. It's good to see us all coming together to serve the Maker.
Chasing the Lord Seeker, I hear. Anyone who thinks they need Lord in front of the name, that's bad. Bet he's got a portrait taller than he is. That's your first clue to a total arse. Fact.
Wait a minute, I lost you, Sarah. What? I'm chasing the Lord Seeker. What? But who's this he? I don't... this is the problem I have with Sarah. She's all over the place, and this accent sometimes gets in my way.
Is the Inquisition what you thought it would be?
Calling an Inquisition is a bit much, isn't it? Does not even know what they're chasing. Fair question for me as well, I suppose. Everybody following a rumor. At least I'm used to that.
Tell me about yourself.
What about me?
You're skilled. Who taught you how to use a bow?
No one.
That seems unlikely.
What? I picked it up here and there. Mostly it just makes sense. It's not like that for you.
Usually it takes considerable discipline. Hence my question.
Hence? Look, I work at it. Practice a little. Not like Cullen and his pets. I mean, you miss, then you don't. Is it that hard to see when it's wrong?
Is it an elf thing?
Most I know couldn't find an arrow sitting on it. Right. Maybe I just make it look easy in shite company. Fact still is, no teacher. Where would I find one in alleyways anyway?
How about the basics? Where are you from?
Ferelden.
I got that from the accent. Where in Ferelden?
All over? Okay, fine. Denerim for a bit. South, north, wherever I want.
There are no connections you want to mention at all?
Nope.
How very Kunari of you.
What?
Never mind.
Right?
You're not like most of the elves I've met.
Thanks, right? Or was that an insult? Suppose I could go barefoot and whine. Like that's soulless, right? Never be as good as we were. Well, who's we? I'm just fine.
I think there's more to it than that. A few thousand years more.
Hey, someone wants to be angry about old debts, be angry. Be a terror that never lets an enemy forget. But if you're digging it up so you can wear it, that's just weird. I mean, the Dalish don't really know. They have stories, but that's all they are. It's all fancy dress, not history.
We'll talk later.
If you say so.
There's a lot of dialogue in this game. An amazing amount of dialogue. And it's good. It's good.
What can I do for you?
Not good for a Let's Play, necessarily. Let's see.
Make her hear my cry. Seat me by your side in death.
I don't think there's anything more with her, right? Anything?
It seems Blackwall knows nothing about the disappearance of the Grey Wardens. It's a disappointment. I am, however, glad that he is with us, even if he was not what I expected. He seems to be a good man, and his experience will be an asset to the Inquisition. As for the other Wardens, I suppose we will have to keep looking.
I'll leave you to your work.
Make her watch over you.
Oops. Vivian, where are you? There you are.
Yes?
I wanted to ask you about the Circle of Magi.
Of course. What do you wish to know?
If the Circle disbanded, how can you still belong to it?
The Circle is an idea, my dear. And an idea cannot be dissolved. Many of the first enchanters voted for rebellion, caring little that anything short of a unanimous decision would pit mage against mage. Rather than dissolving it, Grand Enchanter Fiona's vote split the Circle in two. The rebels follow her, the loyalists follow me.
If you lead all the loyalists, why are you only First Enchanter and not Grand Enchanter?
Grand Enchanters are elected, and since there are no First Enchanters besides myself, no vote can be held. I could name myself Grand Enchanter, but the title holds no meaning now. When the circles are restored, that will change.
I've never been to the Montsimard Circle. What was it like?
A place of great history and tradition, with the greatest library of magical history outside of the Imperium. It was deeply involved in the Great Game, as you might expect of anyone living in Orlais. The mages there were quite competitive, but it was stimulating to be always pushed to exceed the abilities of my peers.
How did we come to this state with the circles in revolt?
You, my dear, are far too wise not to have realized that many of our colleagues live with their eyes closed. Safe from the world inside their towers, they thought only of the Templars and their own resentment. Blackwall gave the world a reason to remember its fear of magic. A mage killed hundreds with a snap of their fingers. Across Thedas, a new, tangible fear of magic grew. Commoners and nobles alike called out to the Chantry for protection. But the malcontents in the towers thought nothing of this. They cared only for themselves and for their anger at the new Templar restrictions. When a mage attempted to assassinate Divine Justinia, again, the mages protested the investigation. The leadership chose to vote on independence based on the intolerable conditions imposed by the Templars, sparing no thought to the fact that magic was more feared in the aftermath of these attacks than it had been since Tevinter's day. So long as they had their freedom, they could care little for riots, angry mobs, or about pitting mages against each other.
This bouncing here is pretty bloody annoying. Well, obviously, you just said they weren't justified.
I thought the fighting was only between mages and Templars. Why are mages fighting mages?
The vote for independence was carried by only a small margin, but Fiona chose to let the motion stand. Those who opposed a rash declaration of war against the entire free world had little choice. By breaking from the Chantry when they did, the rebels declared themselves in support of mass murder. Anyone who did not wish to support terrorism and the slaughter of innocents was forced to take arms against the rebels.
Well, our circle in Ostwick didn't take either side.
Are you familiar with Grand Enchanter Fiona?
We've met. Before her horrendously ill-timed and selfish vote for independence, I thought her adequate at her job. In her dotage, she could not handle looking after the well-being of so many people. We would have done better to replace her years ago, to let her spend time gardening.
Did they have cause to rebel?
In the aftermath of their terrorist attacks? Was that really the most opportune time to break away? By all means, protest abuses by the Templars. Just don't do it in a way that says mages support wholesale murder. By voting when they did,
My colleagues all but declared war upon the ordinary people of Thedas. A war in which we are outnumbered 100 to 1.
Well, Vivian's got a lot of good points. A lot of people don't like Vivian, and they're like, oh, mages should be free, but man, Vivian's got a lot of good points.
I have heard rumors of a way to reverse the right of tranquility.
Yes, I have heard them as well.
Would you wish to have your self restored?
I do not believe that would be wise. The number of demons present might leave me vulnerable to possession. I might also experience feelings of discomfort over events that occurred while I was in this state. I can survive in this fashion. If I were made whole again, I might not.
It is a terrible bargain we ask you to make.
It is the whisper in the night.
I
The
greet
lie upon your sleep.
I don't believe I've had the chance to speak candidly with a revered mother. Can you tell me about the Chantry?
I presume you mean deeper questions about the organization itself. Even in the circle at Ostwick, you should have been taught the basics.
What is your stance on magic?
Andraste put it simply. Magic must serve man, not rule over him. However, those words must be put into the proper historical context. Andraste led a rebellion against the Tevinter Imperium, whose magisters controlled most of the world at the time. Even then, she never called for all mages to be put to death. She believed in peaceful coexistence.
I don't recall the Chantry being as tolerant of magic as you describe.
No. The Chantry is an imperfect vessel, pulled in every direction by those who would steer its course. Yet the Templars rebelled precisely because divine Justinia was not restrictive enough. Perhaps the Inquisition will find a better way.
I doubt it. I don't know if there's an answer to this problem.
Why does the Chantry allow only human women to become priestesses?
The official doctrine is that elves and dwarves have turned further from the Maker than humanity. And as for men, the chant holds that they are more vulnerable to anger or passion. But in truth, it is simply political, added after Andraste's death, like too many of our beliefs.
If you don't believe these restrictions are what Andraste wanted, why haven't you tried to change them?
Has the current state of the world not taught you the folly of fighting too many battles at once? I chose to use what power I had to help peasants forgotten by the nobles of Orlais. I believed there would be time to address their inequality under the Chantry once we had saved them from starving.
Yeah, this is an argument against Liliana and all her changes.
There were calls for an exalted march to put down the Mage Rebellion. What was your opinion?
It was ignorant gossip. An exalted march only succeeds when it carries the will of the people. Even then, it cannot be undertaken lightly. People are too easily frightened. We cannot destroy everything they fear. An exalted march is justified only against a true threat to this whole world. It is an offense to the Maker to use it as a political bludgeon, or as a means of spreading the chant of light.
What about the exalted march that conquered the elves?
That is a hotly debated matter in some circles of the Chantry. The elves had conquered Montsemard and threatened Val Royeaux itself. They were not helpless victims. But even then, Orlais was the only nation to provide troops. It was hardly an exalted march of all the faithful. The Maker wishes his world to spread by example, not by war. We win no converts with blood.
Farewell, revered mother.
Maker go with you.
Obviously, the exalted marches are kind of like crusades.
Mother Giselle says we're losing fewer patients to fever thanks to your work. Good. The Maker is watching over us. All right. Yes. Good.
Good day to you.
Tell me how you came to work for the Inquisition again.
I'd
been
Oh, is
considering
this
leaving my
again?
post in Antiva for a new challenge when Leliana recruited me. There's such unrest in Thedas, and the Inquisition seems a promising method to stop it. It's to everyone's benefit if we prevent the Mage-Templar conflict from spreading further.
So was it the prospect of stability that drew you here?
The full impact of the Mage Rebellion has yet to be felt, and that was before the death of the Divine. The violence must be curbed before we see it turn to full-scale war.
I can only imagine the bloodshed if it escalates further.
I'm afraid history holds many examples of what will happen if it does.
What exactly does your job entail?
I meet with ambassadors from various factions and countries, and cement alliances with them. We are a young cause. Diplomacy is essential to our credibility.
Then you speak for the Inquisition with these nobles?
I do. Someone must foster goodwill on our behalf, as well as prevent controversy as news of us spreads.
How heavily are our actions scrutinized?
Make no mistake. Every noble house, every throne, is waiting to see what the Inquisition does next. Many are willing to pledge support, if offers are made in just the right fashion. I intend to see that they are.
What do the people make of us?
Despite our fame, we're low on steadfast allies. We must aim for more.
Do we have guests?
Any visiting dignitaries I should watch out for?
Sir Griffith of Denerim, a most distinguished knight of the realm. He's defeated darkspawn, slain demons, chased down abominations. Just don't ask him about it over dinner. He spares no detail.
Really? I haven't seen the dude. What's this? Is this gonna be in the Codex? Yeah, it's gonna be in the Codex, so I'll read that later. Alright, so we need to get our report back about building those towers, and then we can go back to Master Denerim. Tell him we got the towers built. Alright, let's find out what we got. Who's reporting back? Okay. Okay, good. Hooray. Anybody else reporting back? Okay, let's see what we got over here. Secrets of Andraste. We got some gold. Mm-hmm. Okay. Alright, so now what are we doing? What do we got going on over here? Let's investigate strange chalk markings. Yeah, let's go that way. I think Liliana's talents might be better elsewhere. What we got over here? No, we don't want to use the Grey Warden treaties yet. Oh, we can't use the Liliana. Oh, here we go. Yeah. I guess there's nothing to do, huh? We already scouted this area. We could go there. I guess there's nothing to do. And how much power do we need? 8? I think. That's alright. Alright, so now we got the report on the watchtowers. That was the main thing to do there. Oh, couldn't I have gotten somebody to get me some more gold? As long as they're not doing anything else. What about some gold? Give me some more gold. I always use some more gold. Give me the gold. Where's the gold? Give me the gold. Who's got 1 hour? 1 hour. Whatever.
You're not pleased?
I am not convinced we are prepared for the full scrutiny of Val Royeaux.
Alright. Give me some coin. Alright, now we're going to head back to the hinterlands in the next episode. Still got that soulless thing to do. And we have to talk to Master Denerim and let him know that we did that thing for him as well. So until then, have a nice day.